Hello, consciousness. It's 2/20/23. I know you probably can't see me that well. I'm in a parking lot right now. That doesn't really matter. What matters is you hear me, you feel me. That's what matters. A lot of prominent names. Dutch Sense is one of them right now, talking about the shape of the Earth. He's remembering the shapes of the continents, and something's not adding up. And he's starting to realize, he may have known this before, but he's starting to post about it, that the world may actually be flat. It's not a globe. And I think that's a good opportunity for me to chime in right now, especially with everything happening. You know, there's train derailments, there's food production attacks, there's false flags everywhere. They're doing school shootings and church shootings and any kind of shooting they could do to take guns away, take food away, take sovereign accountability away. They want you to be a machine in the wheel of the cog, a cog of the wheel of Dharma. They want you stuck here. And one way to help you snap out of it is to realize that this world is not what they told us it is. I, for one, was told since birth, growing up in school and things like that, that the world's a globe. We're 93 million miles away from the sun, 280,000 miles away from the moon, 24,000 miles circumference, 12,000 diameter. Certain things they tell us, 7 continents, and Antarctica's at the bottom of the Earth, and North Pole's north above us, and the South Pole's Antarctica, which is actually reversed. But it's not really a ball, so it's not. It's just the magnetic poles are what I'm referring to. So south is north, north is south. They have it reversed. And that's a way to really learn this. These people do mirror magic. And you need to realize, if you want to figure out this world, the so-called powers that be, think of them as prison wardens and guards of a prison. The goal is to get your soul trapped here and then tire it out with that endless wheel of Dharma. Just keep burning yourself out, going to work, punching the clock, paying the bills, getting in this relationship, making love, having kids, getting married, having a divorce, then the kids are separate and trauma there, then you get married again and lose your job, then you retire, nonstop, just negative stress, karma. And they want to take away jobs and cause a lack mentality so we don't live abundantly like we're designed to. I plant one sunflower seed in the ground and I get hundreds of them. That's how nature works. That's how we're supposed to live here. But we've been taught scarcity for so long, so many generations, that it's got ingrained to a point. We can get out of it, but we need to be aware of it before you can know to get out of it. So the shape of the world is off. The history's off. His story is bullshit. We were taught, Rome and Greece and all these other things, but the truth of the matter is, this is level 5, the end of level 5. I call it levels because that's how I remember it. But we're at the end of level 5, going into level 6. Level 1, everything you see around you was massive. We were massive. So it would actually probably look relatively the same in comparison to, like, if I look at that pine tree over there, it's like 35 feet. So it's, a couple times my height. A lot of times my height. I'm what, 5'6" right now after all my back surgeries. If I look at a car, it's a certain size to my body. If I look at a street lamp, certain size to my body. Well, in level 1, everything was bigger. I don't think we had street lamps back then. We didn't need them. But we had power, we had consciousness power, we had full potential of our energy. Literally, people, and again, before I get into this, I don't want you to believe a word I'm saying, because I know how crazy it sounds to somebody who's indoctrinated the way we've been. So write it down, pencil it down somewhere, and come back to it later when you're ready, because at first it's gonna hurt to hear. You're gonna be like, nope, that's bullshit, this guy's crazy, where's his tinfoil hat? I do own one, by the way. I probably should have put it on for the video. The point is, level 1. There are pictures. I share them on my Facebook page and a couple pages on my YouTube channel too. There are mountains on this plane. It's a plane. It's flat. There are mountains on this plane that if you look at them sideways, it looks like a giant laying down or buried. Or if you see it looks like a foot sticking out of the ground and it was cut off. There's a lot of examples all over the world like this. We were massive, the size of mountains. We eventually got bored, got stagnant, and just like a river in nature, if it gets stagnant, it gets moldy, mildew, bugs, toxins. So consciousness, the people here, we got lazy, and we started, they say that idle hands is the devil's plaything. You lose the will to do the difficult things in life, to learn the lessons, and you get lazy. You take the easy way out, like we see today in our society. A lot of people ran to these who they thought were good. At one time, I thought they were good too, because I went to over 58 procedures on my spine. They went to doctors and said, hey, you know what? I'm afraid, they're afraid. I don't even want to say it myself. They're afraid of a bug. Give them a shot that was just made in a lab like 2 months ago. Yeah, we'll trust that instead of God's immune system that we've been given. So that right there was a karmic lesson. A lot of those people took the shot. And again, no judgment. I love all of you, including the ones that took the shot. We're all in this together. A lot of us were lied to. I was lied to for decades. And I kept going to doctor after doctor after doctor. They gave me flu shots. They gave me this shot, that shot. Not these COVID mRNA shots, thankfully. But they cut me open, put rods in my back, screws, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm right there with you. But now I see it. And that was a karmic lesson for me to learn. And I've been unraveling that karma ever since. Every moment of every day I work at it. Now, in level 1, we as a species, consciousness, became out of balance. To the point that there were people eating people and killing people, and what we have today. You go to McDonald's, you're eating partially human flesh, and that affects your soul. So today, the same thing's happening. What happened in level 1, these big giants the size of mountains that were damn near indestructible. Not against Source. You do not go against Source, the universe, our creator, God, whatever name you want to use. You can't go against that. You can try. You get a little wiggle room. You get enough rope. Just hopefully you don't hang yourself. And we did. We got too far out of balance as a species, consciousness. And the world was reset. It was flooded out. Literally the gates above us, what we call the Milky Way now, I believe that was actually the crack in the firmament where all the water came in. There's geysers all over the world that we're calling asteroid meteor impact craters, but there's no stone meteor found anywhere near it. A lot of people are saying that those are geysers. The oceans from below came up and flooded the earth. So bad that giants that were thousands of feet tall drowned. What happened after that? After the water subsided, you had a bunch of dead bodies everywhere. Massive giant beings dead. All the trees were cut down before that. We had trees literally the size of mountains. Bear's Tower, Devil's Tower in Wyoming, that was a tree. And that was a small one. So extrapolate that. And they already proved this scientifically. They found the roots. You can go look at the radar images, the ground penetrating radar images of the roots branching out for miles. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's actual fact, proven with science, that there were trees that literally, like in Avatar, the movie. That's why that movie resonated with so many people, because there's a lot of truth in there. So level 1, after the massive trees were cut down, which provided a barrier between us and the scalar winds, the scalar waves that weigh down on everything. It gave us a barrier, which allowed us to be that tall. So I hear a lot of people say, well, giants couldn't have been that big because, again, they're thinking small. They're thinking everything's the same as it was now, but that's not accurate. The truth of the matter was the trees were so big that the scalar waves, the scalar ceiling, if you will, was way up, which means nature can grow higher. And we've proved this now with electroculture. You can actually use copper wires with low voltage electricity to make plants grow massive. I mean, massive. You ever see those pictures of pumpkins that are big as a cart and, wild shit like that? It's electroculture, because the scalar waves are being lifted above, which gives room to grow. Now, all those trees are gone, and the scalar waves are on us, and that's why we're the level we are now, which is level 5, the end of it. Level 2. So after level 1, all the major giants died. Some of them survived. Some of them were able to hold on and come back in for level 2 and hold on to some of that love and that, some of the good ones. And they came back to teach Those of level 2 say, hey, listen, guys, see all these dead bodies floating around? See all these dead trees and logs? And that's where all the sand from all the beaches come from. It's actually petrified wood. So you see all this shit? That's what happens when you fuck up. That's when you live out of balance. So we wrote rules and religions and laws. I don't know if religions came in level 2. I don't remember that part. But they were the pure sciences, the pure religions. I wouldn't even call it religion. It was spirituality. It was, knowledge of the creator, knowledge of source, and that source love within you, and living in balance with that or out of balance. So level 2 happened. Things got real good. We had another golden age. Everyone was living abundant, beautiful artwork, beautiful sculptures, buildings that people would not fathom right now. And if I even try to talk about it, you would think I'm crazy. But I have pictures, I have evidence. And many of us do. There's millions of us talking about this right now. So we literally reshaped the whole world and desired to create beauty in honor of source and ourselves, source allowing us to manifest our bodies here and live this duality. And then after a while, people got lazy, people got tired, people got lethargic. Things were too easy for them. And then they started, again, idle hands is the devil's plaything. They started living out of balance. Eventually it decayed to the point that, again, beings were eating each other, the flesh, like we have with fast food today. And then level 2, there was another reset. And then level 3 started, same pattern. Level 3 happened. Now I know level 4, the reset was a mud flood. And there's common groups now that talk about that one the most. Level 4, they say the mud flood and Tartaria. Now, I don't want to get hung up on names of cultures and stuff because that's an easy way to get manipulated by certain organizations to try to trick you and say, oh, well, the Tartaria, that was the most advanced. No, level 1 was the most advanced. And I haven't heard anybody talk about level 1 publicly yet, except for myself. And there may be somebody who's doing it without calling it that. But they show pictures of the giants and stuff. So, level 4, we were us, but we were, 10, 12 feet tall. Some were 9 feet tall. And then some of us were also, 100 feet, 200 feet, those who came back from level 3 to teach level 4. And now, present day, there are many of us back here again teaching in level 5, the end of level 5. We're here to wake those up who are ready. And then when you are ready, you can survive the cataclysms that happen and start fresh again. This time, I don't know if it's going to be a total physical reset and wipe everybody out and have, pockets of humanity surviving. The way the corrupt in charge, well, not in charge, but playing house in the government right now, corporations, the way they're planning it, they're trying to pollute everything. And they're doing a pretty damn good job of it. They're spraying the skies, which means everything that's looking at the sky now, your gardens in your backyard, they're getting rained on with aluminum, strontium, barium, Morgellons disease, the little fibers that they do, a lot of shit. Our food supply is poisoned, our water, our air, our entertainment, our family units are being attacked. All of this stuff's happening to try to get as many souls to drain that energy here, that loosh, to just dump it out here, and then they have mechanisms to siphon that off. Watch that TV show on Netflix called The Dark Crystal. There was a movie in the 80s about it. They did a good job on Netflix, but I don't know how much they altered from the original. I have to watch the original again. It's been a minute. But it'll give you a general idea. They call them reptiles or lizard people or blue bloods, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's out of balance ego. Whatever shape that may take, it could be any species that exists. If it's out of balance ego, it's siphoning energy. It's getting you to put your energy outside of yourself instead of relying on home, your heart, source, the spirit that we all share. Now, these out of balance egos want to live in this empire of dust and keep as many here as they can to keep this ball rolling. Well, they're the same ones that say there's too many people on Earth. Now, there's never too many people on Earth. There's too many people out of balance on Earth. So there's too many souls out here doing harm to each other because they don't know who they are, where they are, or the select few who are actually choosing to do it purposely. It's far less than the ones who are doing it accidentally. And that's why everything had to be manipulated and lied about. So we're in level 5. It's ending now. We're going to start level 6. It's going to be beautiful, a golden age. We're going to have architecture, beautiful minds creating beautiful artwork and poems and stories about what we live and how to live. But right now we're watching the society eat itself apart and rip itself apart. There's train derailments, etc. I don't want to get into all right now. The point of the story is some very difficult truths are coming out, and a lot of minds aren't going to want to handle it. They're going to run away from it. But those of you who are hearing me now and choose to listen and figure it out yourself and listen to your heart, don't let me be your leader. You lead yourself through your heart. God, source is leading us. That's your true power. So for you to get a head start on what's going on, the world that we live in, what we see is flat. And we are quarantined here. As the levels drop from level 1 to level 5 that we're in now, that flat plane that we live in shrank. Got smaller, smaller, smaller. So what they call the firmament, that used to reach out farther. So if you go to Antarctica right now, in any direction, you could hit Antarctica because it's a wall all the way around us. We're quarantined here. They don't want you to know that. That's why Antarctica is blocked off by the governments of the world, because they know if you escape out of this, you're going to see what's really going on. And they don't want that because that'll ruin their game. They can't lie to you anymore. If they can't lie to you and you know the truth, they have no way of controlling you because you have infinite potential in your heart, source. Once you acknowledge that, there's nobody out there that can mess with you at all. You could let them trick you into doing something, but they cannot force you. That's universal law, free will. There's nothing that can stop that. Source created that. We created that with source power to be able to live and learn lessons. It's the only way it would be a lesson if you have the power to choose what you're doing, because that karma's on you. So if you're doing good or bad, that's on you. And that's why I'm here making these messages now, is because we are watching the society, everything be exposed, everything be brought to light. And if you know enough of this now, you'll have a head start above a lot of people. I don't mean above, like better than them, but you'll have, think of like insider trading. That might be a bad example because they try to make that illegal and bad, but think of it as you see the map before the journey begins. And so it's actually easier or a little more, you're a little more efficient at what you're doing. So if you know the universal laws, free will, number one, you cannot infringe on free will. If you think you can force somebody to do something, you're already racking karma up on your soul. And then if you actually go to force people or hypnotize them or drug them or just bribe them or threaten them, whatever mechanism you want to use, that's racking up on your soul. And these people running these corporations that have been influencing the world, they've been doing that for a long damn time. And the way they try to get out of it is by subliminally telling you what they're doing. So they'll go out and tell you, like the UN, their logo is the flat earth map. It literally shows you the flat earth in your face. And they say, well, we're globalists. So they're showing you the truth, but lying to your conscious mind. And then your conscious mind believes it and says, oh, okay, well, that's what's going on. That's what we're doing. We're on a globe floating through space, a blue marble. It's meaningless, and we all evolved from apes. Meanwhile, there's apes walking around that didn't evolve. It's pure ignorance. It's sad that so many of us fell for it, myself included at parts of the time. So this message is for you to start taking accountability for how you live, what you do, what you think, what you feel, who you share your time with, where you spend your energy. Are you watching a bunch of violent, It movies or Saw movies and traumatizing your soul? Or are you watching something that's going to help you grow? And really, there's no right or wrong. It's just what you're doing for you. But there is balance and imbalance. So if you're out there harming people and trying to infringe on free will, you're going to have to pay for that debt, karmically speaking. I do know for a fact that we are going to have a beautiful world when we leave. It's going to be gorgeous when it's time to go home. It'll be all landscape, nice and clean, organized nature. I don't mean organized like the artificial wants to do. The artificial matrix, the Demiurge, the out of balance ego, Satan, whatever you want to call it, wants things like a machine. because machine is the only way it can try to get immortality. Living through a machine, as the reincarnation cycles happen and the resets happen, physical matters get, physical people get wiped out and turned to stone, and et cetera, et cetera. Their only hope is to try to keep a form of artificial intelligence alive. And it doesn't work, but they try to do it. And people, people come back in the next life, and then they, do what they do. So there's always going to be good and evil in this duality, or balance and unbalance, and rightfully so. But at the moment, the scales are tipped a little bit too much to the imbalance side, which means this whole show is going to reset, and it could be pretty cataclysmic. So being right with source in your heart and your karma, and taking care of each other and showing love, that's what's going to help you survive. That's Noah's Ark right there, is your heart. Noah's Ark. Yeah. So be in love, love yourself, love the ones around you, but also set your boundaries up. You don't have to just dump your cup out to people who aren't willing to honor that. So, there's a lot going on. And I wish you all well. Not to keep this video going on too long, but yeah, we are in level 5 going to level 6. I don't know where the exact start date is and end date. And they tell you this, the 2160, 2160 year cycle, the Kali Yuga, the Yugas they call them in Hindu and Indian area. And if you notice, all these parts of the world still hold a remnant, the spark of truth. But it gets tainted if, the deceivers want to deceive. They call them the name stealers, or the Khazarians, or, there's many forms they take. Just out of balance ego is what it is. Its goal is to trick you into dumping your energy here. You're tainting your soul so they can feed off of it. And they can't force you to do that. They can only trick you to do that. So having your wits about you helps a lot. I love you all. Please be well. And I will talk to you on the next video.